From Woody in Toy Story to Shrek, heroes are supposed to be the ones we root for. The ones who save the day, get the girl, and look good doing it. But sometimes, the heroes are the problem. First up, Woody, sheriff, leader, certified control freak. For most of Toy Story, Woody is framed as the good guy, the responsible one, the toy who actually cares about Andy. And sure, fine, we'll give him that. But the second Buzz Lightyear shows up, Woody completely loses the plot. He doesn't just feel threatened, he bulldozes an entire friendship before it even starts. He schemes, manipulates, and at one point literally knocks Buzz out of a window. A window. This man launched his supposed best friend off a two-story building because he was getting too much attention at a birthday party.
Listen, Light Snack, you stay away from Andy. He's mine, and no one is taking him away from me.
Sure,
Jackass.
And the worst part? Everyone in the room still thought it was an accident. Woody's out here committing crimes and maintaining his reputation simultaneously. That's not leadership, that's politics. The jealousy isn't even subtle. Every time Andy picks Buzz, Woody's whole personality collapses. He goes from, "I've got this under control," to full emotional spiral in under 30 seconds. No coping mechanisms, no self-reflection, just pure, unfiltered ego dressed up in a cowboy hat. And what really seals it is how Woody treats the other toys during all of this.
The word I'm searching for, I can't say because there's preschool toys present.
You finished?
These are his people, his crew, the ones who respected him before Buzz ever showed up. But the moment his status feels threatened, that loyalty evaporates completely. He doesn't just turn on Buzz, he isolates himself from everyone. A leader who only leads when he's winning isn't a leader. He's just someone who likes being in charge. Now, does he eventually grow? Sure, but let's not let character development erase the fact that this toy was one bad day away from being the villain of his own movie. Jealousy is a trait that makes heroes look small, and Woody, for a good chunk of that first film, was very, very small. But if Woody's jealousy was bad, at least it was quiet. Mr. Incredible's ego? Loud, destructive, and somehow always everyone else's problem. Bob Parr is retired. Superheroes are illegal. His family is right there. And yet, every single night, this man is sneaking out in a suit that stopped fitting a decade ago to relive his glory days. Not because the world needs him, because he needs the world to need him. That's not heroism. That's a midlife crisis with a cape. The collateral damage is insane. His wife is holding the entire family together while he's out lying to her face. He's getting fired from his actual job and secretly working for a mysterious stranger on a remote island. Red flags everywhere, but Bob doesn't see red flags. Bob only sees the highlight reel of his own legacy. Remember Buddy, the kid who just wanted to be his sidekick? Mr. Incredible shut him down so fast and so cold that he accidentally manufactured a supervillain.
I only wanted to help. And what did you say to me?
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Syndrome didn't build a murder robot because he was born evil. He built it because one hero told him he wasn't good enough and never looked back. Bob never once connected those dots. Even after everything Syndrome did, even after the family was nearly destroyed, Bob never sat down and thought, maybe how I treated that kid had something to do with this. The ego was so ironclad that accountability couldn't find a way in. Not just thinking you're the best in the room, but being so convinced of it that you can't trace your own damage. Ego doesn't just hurt the person carrying it, it ricochets. It takes out everyone in the vicinity, including a 10-year-old with rocket boots and a lot of feelings. Bob eventually gets humbled, but it takes near death, a destroyed family vacation, and his wife having to literally save him first. Some people learn lessons the easy way. Mr. Incredible needed the full package. And if you think ego is bad, wait until you see what happens when a hero decides the solution is to just never go home at all. Simba ran, literally packed up his trauma, moved to a jungle, and spent years eating bugs and pretending his entire past didn't exist. And look, we get it. Watching your father die in front of you is not exactly something you bounce back from over a weekend. The trauma is real, the grief is valid, but at some point, Hakuna Matata stops being a coping mechanism and starts being a character flaw. Because while Simba is out there perfecting his carefree lifestyle, the entire Pride Lands are collapsing. His family is starving, his home is dying, and he's having a great time with a warthog and a meerkat who, respectfully, have zero stakes in any of this. The avoidance runs so deep that even when Nala shows up, literally travels across the savannah to find him and tell him everything is falling apart, Simba still hesitates.
You're our only hope.
Sorry.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now.
She's not asking him to move mountains. She's asking him to go home, and he needs a full haunted sky vision from his dead father just to make a decision that should have taken about 30 seconds. What really exposes it is what Simba does with guilt. Instead of processing it, he buries it underneath a whole new personality. Hakuna Matata isn't just a song, it's an identity transplant. He doesn't just run from his past, he builds an entirely new life specifically designed so his past can never catch up. New friends, new jungle, new philosophy, new Simba.
Hakuna Matata. It's something I learned out here.
The only problem is that the Pride Lands didn't get a reset button too. Avoidance doesn't just affect the person running, it leaves an entire kingdom without a king. It lets Scar cook, undisturbed, for years. Simba gets his act together eventually, but only after the universe throws everything at him simultaneously. Some heroes rise to the occasion. Simba needed the occasion to personally hunt him down, corner him, and refuse to leave until he got up. Running from your past is one thing, but what about a hero who can't even trust his own future? That's a whole different level of broken. Po started with nothing but noodles and a dream, and somehow, even after being literally chosen by the universe, this panda spent half the movie trying to talk himself out of his own destiny. Po is the dragon warrior. The scroll said so. Oogway pointed at him in front of everyone, and yet, every single morning, Po wakes up and chooses to believe he's the wrong guy. Not in a humble, endearing way. In a, I am actively sabotaging my own training because I cannot get out of my own head kind of way.
I probably sucked more today than anyone in the history of Kung Fu, in the history of China.
Master Shifu is out here designing an entire personalized training program built around food just to get this panda to focus. That is not standard instruction. That is crisis management. Self-doubt doesn't just slow Po down, it becomes contagious. The Furious Five already thought he was a joke. Every time Po agreed with them, he handed them more ammunition. You can't inspire confidence in a room when you have none in yourself. That's not a vibe issue. That's a structural problem.
It is not your destiny to defeat Tai Lung. It is his. Where'd he go?
Po is genuinely talented, not in the traditional sense. He's not going to out-technique Tigress in a straight fight, but he has instincts, creativity, and a resilience that most trained warriors don't. He just can't see any of it. Every punch he lands gets dismissed in his own head. Every small win gets buried under the weight of everything he thinks he should be instead of everything he already is. Self-doubt doesn't just make you hesitate, it makes you invisible to yourself. The Dragon Scroll reveal is the peak of it, the most powerful secret in Kung Fu history. And Po's big takeaway is that there's nothing written on it. He doesn't see potential. He sees a blank page and assumes it means he was wrong all along. It takes his dad casually revealing that the secret ingredient in the secret ingredient soup is nothing for Po to finally click.
The secret ingredient is nothing.
Are you sure about that?
Which means this panda's entire character arc was unlocked by a soup metaphor. We love Po, but the man needed a lot of hand-holding to believe what the universe already decided for him. Po needed someone to believe in him. Helen Parr's family needed her to believe in them, and for a long stretch of The Incredibles, she just couldn't do it. Helen is competent, incredibly so. The woman can turn herself into a parachute, a boat, and a human shield simultaneously while delivering a motivational speech.
You know what I said! Listen to what I'm saying now!
You think I'm funny?
That's not parenting. That's operating at a level most superheroes can't touch. But competence and control are two very different things. Helen spent years confusing them. After superheroes went underground, Helen didn't just adapt. She overcorrected. She built a life so tightly managed that there was no room for anyone else in the family to breathe, let alone use their powers. Violet is hiding. Dash is suppressing, and Bob is sneaking out at night like a teenager because the alternative is suffocating quietly in a house where everything has to look fine. Over-control comes from fear. That part makes sense. But fear dressed up as structure still does damage. When the family finally gets to Namanasan Island and everything goes sideways, Helen's first instinct is still to manage the situation alone, even when it's literally a family emergency that requires the whole family. Here's where the trait gets really costly. Helen is so used to being the most capable person in every room that she fundamentally underestimates what her own kids can do. Violet has been practicing force fields in secret. Dash has speed that rivals trained operatives. Helen never gave them a real stage to perform on because giving them that stage meant admitting she couldn't control the outcome. An uncontrolled outcome isn't an adventure for someone wired like Helen. It's a threat. The irony is that the very children she was overprotecting turned out to be exactly what she needed all along. Violet throws a force field. Dash outruns enemies. And suddenly, Helen realizes she spent years suppressing the very weapons she needed most. Over-control shrinks the people around you while you're busy trying to protect them. Helen figures it out, but it took a villain's island, a rocket, and her kids saving her life to get there. Sometimes the most capable person in the room is also the biggest obstacle in it. And then there's a hero who didn't build walls out of fear. He built them out of habit. Big difference. Worse outcome. And then there's Shrek, the hero who didn't want to be a hero. The guy who looked at every single person trying to connect with him and said, "Absolutely not, I live in a swamp." Shrek's whole identity is built around isolation. He's got his swamp, his routines, his mud baths, and zero interest in letting anyone pass the perimeter. And look, introversion is valid. Boundaries are healthy, but Shrek doesn't have boundaries. He has a full moat around his entire personality. The moment Donkey shows up, Shrek's default setting is rejection. Every attempt at friendship, every conversation, every single good morning gets met with the emotional equivalent of a slammed door. Donkey is annoying, sure, but he's also just trying. And Shrek treats genuine warmth like it's a personal attack. It gets worse with Fiona, the one person who actually sees him, ogre and all, and Shrek still manages to blow it spectacularly. He overhears half a conversation, assumes the worst, and instead of asking one single follow-up question, he ships Lord Farquaad to her doorstep like a revenge package and walks away. No confrontation, no communication, just pure self-sabotage wrapped in a green exterior. Here's what nobody talks about. Shrek isn't mean because he dislikes people. He's mean because he likes them too much and doesn't know what to do with that. Every insult, every "get out of my swamp," every dramatic exit is just a guy who got hurt enough times that offense became his entire defense strategy.
Back off! No, you back off! This is my swamp!
What the hell?
The walls aren't there because he's an ogre. They're there because somewhere along the way, letting people in stopped feeling safe. So he built the swamp, stocked the moat, and decided that alone was better than disappointed. Pushing people away isn't protection. It's preemptive rejection, hurting everyone else before they get the chance to hurt you. Shrek built walls taller than his swamp trees and then acted surprised when people stopped trying to climb them. He gets there in the end, but it takes Donkey refusing to quit, Fiona refusing to leave, and an entire kingdom of chaos before Shrek finally accepts that letting people in doesn't make you weak. It just makes you less alone in your swamp. So there you have it. Woody, Mr. Incredible, Simba, Poe, Elastigirl, and Shrek. 6 traits that almost tank their own stories. Now here's what I want to know. Drop it in the comments. Which one of these traits do you actually catch yourself doing? Be honest. Nobody's judging. We're all a little bit Shrek out here. And if you want more of that, the uncomfortable, the hilarious, and the surprisingly deep, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.